I had never had an obsession with anything. I just had that dream, in the back of my head. And then as soon as I did it, it was like a switch flipped.
Hey guys, welcome to the Rational Optimization Podcast. My guest today is Max Mariotti. He's an upcoming techno and house DJ. And today we talked about how he discovered DJing, how he decided that this is the thing he wants to do with his life, and how he plans to go on with this, how he plans to build a brand as a as a DJ, which is a pretty hard task. But yeah, it was really interesting to talk to someone that has such a clear goal in life and such a concrete direction where he wants to go to. I really enjoyed talking to him. Enjoy.
I saw on Instagram that a bar in my hometown in the mountains was looking for a DJ. And I, at that point, had never DJ'd before. But ever since I was 8 years old, that's all I've wanted to do. And I said, I had no idea what I was going to do. So I was like, worst they can do is fire me.
Wait 1 second before. You wanted to study before you discovered DJing. You wanted to study ABA.
So I wanted to study international business.
Why? Just
because
no.
I don't know. I think I always wanted to apply it to music, and I just thought that getting a music degree in my head wasn't practical, and so IBA was the closest thing to the music industry where I could still use it. So it was always my dream to be a DJ.
Money connected with music.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was always my dream to be a DJ, never my plan until a couple years ago.
Sorry, now you can keep going.
No. So, so I said, worst they can do is fire me. Went back to Trevina, my hometown. Interviewed for the job. They didn't ask me about my experience. I didn't tell them. I said, do you have gear? And they said, we have gear. I said, perfect. We're good then. 18 hours of YouTube. First set, I just went up, did the best I could. Wasn't amazing, but wasn't terrible. And then the second set was actually, funnily enough, one of the busiest sets I had. So there were like, first set, no one. Second set, 350 people, easy, on like this little balcony. So that was stress-inducing because it was my second live set ever. But, people really liked it. And I ended up DJing every day, weather permitting. I was outside. So every day from December 1st to May 1st, that season, 7 days a week, Christmas, New Year's, holidays, every day. And that's when I would realize, like, this is all I've ever wanted to do. Looking back on my life, and it's all I still want to do now, having done it every day. It's like, it's the only thing I think about, which is weird because I had never had an obsession with anything. I just had that dream, in the back of my head. And then as soon as I did it, it was like a switch flipped. Like I become a different person when I'm DJing. And that to me is a sign that I'm reaching into myself and grabbing parts that I've never activated before. And then people see that and there's a positive response to it. So I found the thing that lights me up and that other people find valuable. So I think I found like my niche kind of, and just, I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like I always say that people don't know me until they've seen me play live because I am a completely different person. Like when we're just chilling, like everything's fine. I'm pretty laid back. I'm a little bit soft spoken, especially in large group settings. And when I DJ, I am an animal. I don't know what happens, but I'm going crazy. I jump off of things. Like I will jump from one time. I climbed up onto a table and then like on where the DJ decks were, stepped onto another table that was like a meter higher, and then jumped off of it into the crowd. And then just started partying. Like I don't know what happens. I still can't explain it, but it's a completely different person. And it's just, I've always loved rock stars, and it's me trying to fulfill that dream of being a rock star that has kept me, going and being successful. And then after that amazing season, I felt like I had fulfilled what I was supposed to do, what I felt like I was lacking the last year. And by complete accident, I stumbled upon the entrepreneurship program, and I had this program and a music degree pretty much 50-50. Like, I did not know what to do. And then I thought to myself, well, is it going to be more useful to me to have a formal education in business and teach myself the music in my free time, or the opposite, where I have a formal education in music and teach myself in business on the side? And I thought to myself, like, with how much of a business the music industry is, the business sense just sounded more logical to me. Also, because I'd already taught myself a lot about music. I've been producing music for, I've been DJing since December of last year. I've been producing music since October of 2020. So I'd already taught myself a lot about that. And I was like, okay, there's a capacity here for me to learn by myself. Business, I wouldn't know where to start. So I just decided for somebody to tell me where to start, basically. And then I would just work on the music stuff on the side, which I have been doing. So that's kind of how I came to find this program. I know that's a long story for like, oh, that's why I'm here in Tilburg, but that's really like, it was all those events just summed up. And also Tilburg's proximity to Amsterdam, which is where I eventually want to buy a place and work out of, was also a huge pro, because I can make it there easily.
You want to buy a place in Amsterdam?
I would
like
love to.
a club?
No, like an apartment.
Okay.
My goal is to buy next summer, and I don't know if this is possible, but I'm not going to say if it's possible or not, because who knows? And these are big goals. But my family, my mom taught me this when I was very young. She said, you need to create what's called a BHAG, which is called a big, hairy, audacious goal. And this is a goal that seems completely ridiculous, but you need to hold that vision and not focus on when it happens, but just that it will. And so for me, or you do need to focus on when it happens, but you just don't focus on the how. So it's why you want this and not how. And the how will come through inspired action. And so for me, my BHAG is to, 1, tour next summer. So I would love to ideally get somebody or book shows myself, where I can go, or not this coming summer, but next summer, would be to go to places like, in the summer, Croatia, ridiculous. Ibiza in Spain, like that's obviously, that's a dream, but just places like that, Mallorca, maybe just huge party hotspots around the EU, and fund that and do a tour next summer. And then after that, after I graduate the program, be a full-time touring DJ and buy a place in Amsterdam, because I love Schiphol Airport so much.
Schiphol Air?
Yeah, airport. Amsterdam Schiphol. The airport,
yeah,
because it is like, if you look at the world, like a world map, Amsterdam Schiphol Airport is smack in the middle. So you can get a direct flight to almost anywhere in the world. And that is amazing, because layovers suck.
Yeah.
So I would buy a place in Amsterdam, because if I have a show in the Middle East and then I have to go, and I have a week in between and I have to go to Argentina or something, I can go direct from Amsterdam to Dubai, back to Amsterdam, spend a week at my house, and then Amsterdam direct to Argentina. Like, there's direct flights everywhere. So it's the traveler's dream,
It's true. Otherwise, you would probably flew across Amsterdam anyway.
Exactly. So might as well have a home to come home to while I'm there anyway, So I just love the location of it. And also the music scene in Amsterdam is crazy. Like, all of my musical inspirations are Dutch, so that's why I'm here, basically. That's one of the reasons why I'm here, is because, I grew up, when I realized I wanted to be a DJ, I was 8 years old. And I came across on YouTube, or like old YouTube, it was Tomorrowland, the music festival. They upload their live sets. So 2012 was the year. And I believe it was either Tiesto or Hardwell. I'm not sure which one. I think it might have been Hardwell. I saw their live set from Tomorrowland 2012, just happened upon it on YouTube. 5 minutes in, I was glued to the screen. And I was like, I want to do that. Like, I knew it instantly. I was like, that is what I was put on this earth to do. And so it just kind of, happened that I showed up here. I don't know if it was subconscious or anything, but for context, we're in Tilburg. Eindhoven, 30 minutes east. Breda, 30 minutes west. Hardwell is from Breda. One of my favorite DJs now, Maddox, who works a lot with Hardwell, is from Eindhoven. So I've situated myself in this place where I'm in a very good spot. And like, I believe one of my favorite groups from early on in the big room kind of festival scene was W&W. And I believe they're from Tilburg, if not Tilburg, Brabant, the region. And so I'm close by, you know, that I just positioned myself as close to it as I possibly could, because it's such a visceral reaction for me to be like, I need to do this. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, nice one. How are you going about building your brand?
That is a good question. And it's a question I'm still trying to answer. But the way that I've done it is I think I take inspiration from people that I love. And it's hard as a DJ because you want to be very recognizable. Like, yeah, you want to have a recognizable trademark, but you're also just a guy, you know? Like if you're a band, you have a group of people all working together, maybe even on a collective theme or something, but it's like when I'm branding myself, I'm literally branding me, not the vision of other people, not a collective vision. I am branding myself. So it's hard to figure out a way to trademark yourself, basically. So to do that, I try to take inspiration from people that I really like. For example, like there's this guy, and he's in the house scene more than like the big room kind of like. That's what I love to make. That I love to produce. I'm still trying to find my sound a little bit, but the stuff that made me fall in love with EDM was Martin Garrix, Hardwell, Tiesto, W&W, these big like anthem EDM producers. And now that's kind of moved into, like, we call that in the dance scene, those were like the golden years of EDM from 2009, 2010 to about 2014. That was like prime festival music. And now it's kind of shifted into a space where it's more house influenced. So guys like Fisher, guys like, I don't know, Fisher, Chris Lake, Skrillex now even, has been working a lot in the house space. And I produce mostly house music. Even though what I'm inspired by is the other stuff, I still am trying to kind of stay relevant with my productions because it's a very contemporary sound. And whenever I produce the older stuff, it sounds great, but it sounds dated. And I know that maybe it'll make a comeback in the future and I can dust off the old hard drive and bust out some of those old school tunes. But for now, I'm trying to stick with the house music. And there's guys like in the house music space, there's a guy named Mala. And Mala has this brand as a gangster, right? So the thing is, what he's done has created such a strong brand identity because he's completely anonymous. So therefore, he's not branding himself. He's branding the idea of something, and it's much easier to come up with an idea for something and present that than it is to understand exactly what you stand for and present that. So he keeps his face covered with a ski mask. That's the first kind of trait. Wears these like gangster clothes, Louis Vuitton jackets, like everything, big chains, yet remains completely anonymous. His albums are Illegal Mixtape, Don Mala, these kind of criminal names. It's a huge hip hop influence. The music that I love to make, I'm so inspired by the music and the brand even more because it's so strong. But I know that I can't get to that point with a brand that strong if I don't separate myself from it, because that is the branding of an idea. The idea of Mala, this character. It's like Marshmello, right? Marshmello's whole idea is wrapped up in a universe separate from the person. But it's so much easier to brand something like that. And it's so hard to take everything, all your core values, and present that in a trademarkable way. So it's a constant improvement thing, and I'm still very much working on it. Is the the long story short way the hell up. But it's something I'm excited to explore because I've always loved aesthetics and fashion and working on, building an image, but I just don't know how at this point. And I'd love to enlist some talented people to help me in that journey. So if I could find them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess this is pretty hard, especially like as a DJ. Like if you say like as like a content creator or something, then it's like you're always in front of the people. You're always talking. That way you can like build like a brand much easier than when you DJ, because as DJ you're not talking, you're making music.
Exactly.
It's like
the talking is kept to a very bare minimum because that's called in DJing, it's called riding the microphone, where you're just using it way too much and talking over like the good parts of the song. And so there are some DJs who strike a balance with that. The biggest guys in the world, Steve Aoki, amazing example of that. Skrillex, awesome example of that. They use the microphone to enhance the moment. There are people that use it too much, and there are people that don't use it at all, and they just let the music speak for itself. And I like to find that balance because I like to have I like to have a real connection with the people that I'm DJing for, and I've only recently started using a microphone, and it's fun, so I keep doing it. But I don't talk too much because I make a point not to, because I know what it sounds like, and it does not sound good when you do that. So yeah, it is hard because you're branding an expression of yourself, and when you're creating that expression of yourself, you're not thinking about you don't have the branding in mind. You have, how am I able to translate what I'm feeling and this spark of inspiration I have onto this canvas, export it, and send it out to the world. That's what you're thinking about, and you don't have a brand in mind, So coming up with a brand for this brandless thing that you made after the fact is really hard. So it's something I'm working on, but I've seen a lot of people achieve success with it, and I'm hoping to to reach the same level.
About like music is really hard to brand, right? Like,
oh yeah,
some people have like those little like something that's in every song, like the name or something.
Exactly. Like that's typically done in hip hop music, like a producer tag.
Yeah.
That's a really good way of branding yourself. But in EDM, it's not so much of a thing. Like a producer tag instead of a sound or like a vocal phrase. A producer tag could be more of a sound. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a very iconic one. Like, I don't know, Skrillex would be a good example. Like his signature sound is growls. And like, I don't know if you've listened to much of it, but it's old school dubstep. These big fat like vowel sounds that are like, they almost sound like people screaming at you. And that's a sound that has become so synonymous with his brand that every time you hear it, you're like, that's a Skrillex song. That's where I want to get to, but I'm not exactly clear on how to get there yet.
But even that, I think it's really like, okay, for the music fanatics, it maybe, this is Skrillex, but like
for anyone else, it's a little bit more niche.
Like,
yeah.
Like, I think for anyone else, like, as soon as there are no lyrics in the music, it's super hard to
exactly
say, okay.
That's another thing about electronic music is that sometimes, and of course this is actually becoming less so, but there aren't a lot of lyrics, and that's more so true with the guys I was talking about earlier, Martin Garrix, Hardwell. They didn't use as many lyrics as the newer people do, because in specific genres of house music, I won't go too far into it because I'm not going to nerd out here, but tech house, techno and house music, you can add vocals to the top of a track and it sounds really good. Bass house, which is the kind of music that I like to make a lot, it's heavily influenced by hip hop. So I always start a track, or try to, if I have this inspiration, like I want to make a mean, like illegal sounding track, I always go for gangster rap acapellas. Biggie is a great one, the Notorious B.I.G., Eazy-E, anyone who has a very characteristic voice. So for me, my favorite rapper of all time is Notorious B.I.G. So I always go for his acapellas, and I'm like, okay, which part of this can I chop up and use in a unique way to elevate the song to a point where people can actually sing along with it, which hadn't been the case in EDM outside of melodies. People can hum melodies like da, 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 and it becomes more of a chant, but nobody could sing. So now it's becoming this thing where everybody can sing these songs, and it's great to have more lyrics in it, but it's also becoming increasingly hard to differentiate yourself. Because with the rise of the internet and in this past year, especially COVID, I mean, everybody's producing music now. Like, I'm part of that wave too. Like, I started producing music in 2020, so I'm the person who's someone who's been producing for 10 years looks at it and goes, "Gah, everybody's a music producer now." But it's very true. It's like the market is crazy saturated. So you have to find that unique thing. And I've done that in live performance. I'm a very unique live performer. And, like, people have said, I don't say that about myself, like, oh, I'm very special, but people have said, like, I've seen hundreds of DJs and I've never seen anybody like you. And that's, of course, a huge compliment or an insult, depending on what they meant by that. But I'm going to choose to take it as a compliment because I don't know what their intentions were. But I go, like I was saying, I go insane. So nobody really sees that level of energy and just like a normal, like, I mean, I was playing après ski, so 4 to 7 p.m. I wasn't like playing these massive festivals, but I acted like I was. And so that drew people in. And so I found my niche there. What I need to do is find my niche in my productions, which I honestly don't know. Like, I would say it comes through experimentation, but I have no idea. I haven't found it yet. So working on that.
Yeah. The connection, you said that in 2010 or something, or 2012, I don't know,
yeah.
you discovered like Tomorrowland the first time. But DJing you started at 2020.
2022, December of 2022, 10 years later.
Okay,
yeah.
Damn. So in between, you already knew that you wanted to be DJ, but you never tried.
Exactly. So I knew that I wanted to do something with music. And subconsciously, I think I always knew it was DJing because I would remember that time in my head when I saw it so vividly, but I never connect the dots, you know? So I always wanted to be, for a while, I think everybody, I wasn't really thinking about what I wanted to do with my life from the ages of 8 to 14.
Yeah.
You know, nobody is, right?
Nobody
I
is.
was just like, I'm traveling. This is sick. And especially because I lived a pretty unique childhood. So basically, I was nomadic for my entire child life from when I was 9 to when I was about 16. So that was my family constantly on the road, visiting these new places. So from age 8 to 14, I had none of that on my mind. Like, I was just like, oh, cool, new places, new people, cool, hi, everybody. Like, I was just living life, having fun. And then when I got to high school, that's when I started thinking about, okay, what do I want to do? And how do I want to, leave a legacy behind? Because that's really what my goal is and has always been, is just make a lasting impact on people. And so it was age 14, I think, when I found hip-hop music, and I thought to myself, I'm going to become a rapper. I could not rap. I could not write music. I just had that vision. I was like, I think I could do this. So, and I think every little kid goes through this phase of like, I'm going to be a rapper. Like, this is hands down, I'm going to be a rapper. No questions asked. So I went through that. Luckily got out of that because it was not pretty. And then I realized that I wanted to make music, but I wanted to not be behind the scenes, obviously, because I love performing. But I didn't want to be the focal point of the music. I wanted the sounds and I wanted to showcase things in the music and then play that for people in live performances, which is why I originally started producing music to become a hip hop producer. Because I still didn't know. I didn't know that EDM was eating away at the back of my brain. So the reason why I started producing music was to make hip hop beats.
You started at 2018, right?
2020.
2020.
No, yeah, 2020 producing music, December 2022 DJing. Yeah, October of 2020. I was already a guitarist. I love heavy metal. Love heavy metal. It's like my favorite genre of music, aside from EDM. I don't know. They're honestly pretty even at this point. But so I was a guitarist. I had a school project, and I had to record guitar. Didn't know how to do it. Just looked it up. So I was like, okay, how am I going to do this? And I downloaded I think it was Steinberg's Cubase, which for all the non-super big music nerds out there was the original DAW, pretty much the original digital audio workstation. It was one of the first ones where you could use you could make music on a computer. Dated. So dated. Like the interface was so hard to use for me. Like, and they're updating it, but to me, it's just like when you're picking a digital audio workstation, every single one can do the exact same thing. It's about finding the workflow that works for you. So I picked this one, had no idea. Took me 3 days to learn how to record into it. Eventually recorded the guitar for my school project. And I was like, well, I got all this software on my computer now. May as well try something. And so I just literally YouTube. Like YouTube is the best teacher now. How to produce beats like Jay-Z, or like you just put in like your favorite rapper and there's 25 tutorials that come up about how to make beats in their style. And so God, it was a year straight of like, I was doing school completely online, like most of us were. I would get all of my assignments at the beginning of the week. They had due dates throughout the week. I would spend 7 hours on Monday just grinding my schoolwork, get it done for the entire week. And then I would not lie to my family, but just leave out the fact that I was done with my schoolwork, although I'm sure everybody knew, and I know my mom's going to be watching this like I knew it, but left that out and just went downstairs and worked on music the whole time, because like my computer was facing the wall, so nobody could see what I was doing. So if I was making music or if I was doing school, no difference to anybody in the house. So I would literally, 7 hours a day, 7 days a week, only doing this, and that was all hip-hop beats. And then, God, it must have been March of 2022? No. Yeah, March of 2022 is when I first tried to make a house track. And it just clicked for me, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is sick. And then after that, it's just been EDM. Like, I make hip-hop beats here and there because it's still really fun. But I've been producing EDM since then. Like, and I'm still relatively new at this. Like, this is, like, I take it as a compliment when people are shocked about how long I've been doing this, because they're always like, my God, you're like, that was crazy. You must have been doing this. I'm like, no, literally, I've been DJing for 8 months, and I started producing a year ago. Like, it's not, I'm so new to this, but I'm just so sure that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, that it's like shot my progression to crazy numbers. So I'm really grateful to have found what I want to do, because it makes me able to, because before that I was a jack of all trades, master of none, good at things, good at a lot of things, not great at something. And then I found music, and it was just, and every time I wanted to, going back to that last point, every time I wanted to improve at something, I would lose all inspiration to continue getting better at it as soon as I got to a surface level thing, because I was always searching for that next thing. And now I know that I was searching for music and I was just trying to find that thing where when I did it, I would just felt like I couldn't stop doing it. And now I have it. And so now it's an obsession. I'm DJing now once a week or once every couple weeks at Tilbury Party Society, which is super fun. And I love the people that work there.
Is it Zen or?
No, it's the one. It's VVT, if you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically a coalition of a lot of international students, and they have put together this party, like they're a party organizer. It's kind of like it's similar to ESN, but they use a different venue, and they bring in a lot of people. So like I was able to party with the job interview set that I had for them, which was unpaid, but they just wanted to see what I could do, because a lot of people apply and they can't actually DJ, so they just need to vet them. So that day happened to be a day where they had in DJ Funk D, who is from Nijmegen. He's played at Tomorrowland. He's played at Ultra Music Festival. He's on tour right now in Southeast Asia. He's going to, where's he going? South Africa, I think, is his next stop. But he's on this great tour right now, and I love to see it. And I wasn't expecting anything much because my set was really early and there was a guy in between us. So I just thought I would be able to say hi. And what ended up happening is he invited me behind the booth, and I was planning on leaving around 1 a.m. because my set finished at 11. I was just going to enjoy the thing, leave at 1. We shut it down. He played from 1 to 3, and we stayed there. He was the best. Like, he was such a nice guy. and he, gave me a shot to get to know him a little bit, and it was so fun, and like, so that opportunity was awesome. And then after that, I played the Halloween party, which is awesome. A little bit more niche music than people are used to. I was downstairs, so I was trying to, because upstairs at Tilburg Party Society, for reference, is a lot of like reggaeton music, old school like club hip hop, right? And that's not my style. I respect it. I love that kind of music in the right condition, just not my thing that I love to DJ. So they were like, "You want to do downstairs?" And I was like, "I'll do downstairs." And I was like, "What do you want me to play?" And they were like, "Get anyone down here who's not feeling what's going on up there." I was like, "I got you." And so it was like a hard techno. Like, it was a dark basement. So I was like, okay, we're doing basement techno. Like, this is happening right now. And there were, it was only 30 people, right, who were in this basement, but every single person was jumping and screaming, and the interaction was amazing. And I was just playing the music for whoever heard it. Like, if they were walking past the door to go downstairs, because the main dance floor, there's a little stair set, and then it's me. And so I was playing the music for anyone who heard it to be like, "Oh my God, I'm going down there." Like, and it was only a few people, but it was so fun. And like, yeah, going back to my point, the point I've been trying to make is I've been crazy busy. So like, every time I'm not doing school, I'm DJing, and then every time I'm not DJing, I'm working on music. Like, it is the only thing I want to do in my free time. There's no period of time where I'd say I want to do nothing. Like, there's none of that for me.
I feel you 100%.
Yeah, there's none of that. Like, it's either I'm working, I'm DJing, I'm taking an exam, because I've had a lot of those, but working, DJing, school, or music. There's no chill time. So, but because music is that's the voluntary thing, like, it energizes me. So I don't need chill time. That's my chill time. I feel rejuvenated after I work on music, so I can just get back up and go at it again. So, yeah, when you find your passion, I think the point I'm trying to make here is when you find something that you love to do, that you're obsessed with doing, and that you're good at, you will never have a lack of energy, ever.
I feel this 100%. I have the same. For me,
Yeah.
it's not DJing. For
No,
me, it's
yeah.
actually researching
Mhm.
about stuff. So I'm like,
Exactly.
I think it's pretty, like, our stories are not so far apart.
No, they're
Exactly
not.
That this is, but I think the thing that mainly connects it is like this flow state that you get in.
Mhm.
Like, it's
Mhm.
the thing you're describing when you start to DJ, and it's like you're all in this thing. And
Yeah.
I feel the same when I'm like really deep in my research. I'm like only there.
It's a
like,
different
nothing,
headspace,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. And this. I feel this, but about the goal, like
Yeah.
the DJing, is it? You also said that you want to make an impact on people.
Mhm.
Is DJing mainly because of the feeling, or is it also connected with the impact?
So for me, I think I was thinking about this last night because I was trying to figure out how to brand myself. And I realized that I'm branding what it means to me to be a DJ. That's my brand. And so for me, the way that I feel when I'm DJing is that nothing else in the world matters other than the music I'm playing and the people I'm playing it to. I have no anxiety regarding anything, even and that's how I kind of knew the first time I did it, because like I was like, if I'm doing anything else, I'm like scared I'm gonna mess up. I'm like, oh, what if I mess up? How am I gonna save myself from that? But when I'm DJing, I don't even think about it. And there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Like, if you've ever seen like a set of DJ decks, it's a lot of buttons, it's a lot of moving parts. I could mess up, so I do mess up so easily, but it's second nature to me to save it, so I don't even worry about it. And that was weird to me, because like, first time I ever tried it, messed up really badly. Every time I would mess up, second nature would kick in and I would save it easily after a day of using this gear. And I was like, wow, this is weird. Why am I like good at this already? And so that's how I kind of knew that I'd found something that I was like, gonna keep going. And coming back to your point, music, like I was saying, nothing matters to me, and I would love to have people feel the same way when they're at my shows. But also, I feel that same way when I'm listening to music. It's not as strong of a feeling, but it is still, if I can lose myself in a song, it feels like the world falls away a little bit. And so if I can make music that lets people let go of any burdens they're feeling, or any, maybe if they're having a bad day and one of my songs comes on and they can resonate emotionally with the melodies that I'm writing and everything, because I know that that's a huge thing for me, is like if I hear a specific melody, I'll just close my eyes and just let myself be transported to a place where none of my, I could have an exam in a half an hour and I could hear this melody and suddenly everything would be all right. That's why I listen to music before my exams. And if I can create a song that does that for somebody, even if it's for 30 seconds, prophecy fulfilled. Like, that's the goal. That's, if I can ease your stress and take you to a place that's different than the physical place you're in, my music has served its purpose. Because for me, electronic music, whether it's listening to it casually, going to a festival, going to a club, it's an escape, Like, you don't go to a music festival to worry about work. You go to a music festival to forget about everything and just immerse yourself in the music. And to me, that's beautiful. And I would love to be able to play at those festivals and be in that same headspace and help people get into that headspace, because I know how good it feels. Like, to me, there's nothing better than being at a music festival and just like completely carefree, enjoying the music. And so if I can do that for people, that's great. Live goals fulfilled. If my music can do that for people in their own homes, regardless of the situation, regardless of their physical location, that is an entirely different level of one, difficulty, because it has to resonate with somebody very, very deeply for that to happen. And two, so fulfilling to me, at least, because like if I can make a song and if somebody says, man, it felt like I was in another world, mission accomplished, like, period. I just love that feeling so much, and to be able to give it to other people would be the dream.
Okay, so it's like a mix of the feeling you get yourself when you're DJing and the feeling you can create in other people.
Exactly.
And make them like feel something.
Yeah, and that's how I want to create my legacy, because if I can be remembered for being the guy that lets all of your problems fall away from you, even just for a few seconds, that's like for me, that person is like, I love Jimi Hendrix. And every time I listen to a Jimi Hendrix song, I can just like lay my head back, close my eyes. I can just be transported to that era in time. And the world just falls away from me, and I can immerse myself in that guitar and those melodies and his voice, and I forget about everything. So, and he's been dead for a long time, and I'm not the only person who feels that way. So that's a legacy that I want to leave, like just people remembering the music fondly, I guess.
Why do you think this matters? Like, for example, if you would be dead, like why would it matter that people?
Because it matters to me a lot, because I just know, like, it's one of the only things that can pull us out of this crazy thing that we call life, like, it's so fast paced. Everything's happening all at once. And then you can just be plucked out of that for a second and have this moment of pure release and just letting everything go. And if I can be remembered long after I'm gone as the person who created that moment for somebody, I will be so happy, because it generates so much joy in my life. And I know that other people like me, where just hearing a song like that, it just puts the biggest smile on your face and feels so good. And if I can make people feel like that, that would be amazing, you know? Like, and also I would love to progress electronic music if I can, you know, like I'm not the best producer in the world right now, but I'm not bad and I've been at it for a year. So like there's still things I need to work on in my basic production skills. But if I get to a point where I'm satisfied with that and I can do things to a high degree of technicality that no one else has done before, that'll be really cool because then I can start to leave my mark on the music scene sonically, which would be really awesome. But I also do want to start, my goal is to, short life plan, be a touring DJ out of college, become a successful professional musician. After that, start a record label. The record label I want to start would be very artist-centric because I know that like the main reason for me being in Tilburg University in the first place is that the music industry is a business. And record labels like, you know, Warner Music and Sony and UMG, they're like, as much as they don't want to say it, they're, and there are exceptions to this, but they're talking about profits a lot. I mean, it's a huge part of it. They're a massive corporation, and I don't deny why. Of course, I understand. I'm a business student, so I understand why they are so focused on profits. But often people get left behind. And for me, if I'm already financially stable as a professional musician, the profits won't be my goal with the record label. And so I would love to create a record label that's designed for artists to succeed. As like, I'm thinking about something almost like a nonprofit, you know? If I'm already financially stable, I don't need to make money off of a record label. So maybe brand deals or whatever, but the actual thing would not be about getting money from the artists. Like I would be royalty free. It would just be a platform for people to take off, you know? Like something that I would have wanted now. Like if I could join, if somebody found me, recognize, or found somebody, not me or anybody, but found someone who was like, you have talent. We're going to take that talent and show it to as many people as possible at no cost to you. That's what I want to do for people because there's no financial gain that's worth more than seeing somebody succeed. So, in like, this is like not a side project. It wouldn't be my main stream of income, of course. That would be music. And then this would just be something that I can do on the side as a way of getting people to a higher level because it's hard in the music industry. It's very saturated. And so to provide a platform, if I make a name for myself and get other people with reputable names to promote these people that I believe and I and other people believe are very talented, that would be a great thing. And then after that, retire, get into luxury real estate, secure that retirement because I love real estate. And so that's like a different topic in and of itself. But yeah.
One short question.
Yeah.
Royalty free means that everybody can use the music with.
Oh no! So royalty free in terms of on the artist to label side means that, so basically the way that a general record deal works is they say, hey, we like you, we're going to give you an advance, which is a check to produce the album, and then you're going to give us 25% of those album sales, and the 25% it's a 25% royalty. And I would just want to do not necessarily the advances, because as a nonprofit, advances don't really work if you don't have any capital, but just say, look, you present us, with high quality products, and we'll promote them for you at no cost to you.
How does this promoting work? Because like, do you make like ads or?
Yeah, it's just an advanced way. It's like using your network. Basically, it would be using my network to my advantage because, you know, as a DJ in the EDM space, it's all about people you know. So if I can just, you know, leverage, and the biggest thing that can happen is a big DJ plays your song, right, live, because DJs don't just play their own music. They play music that everybody else has made as well. And so if a DJ hears a song and likes it, then they'll play it. And that's a huge win for the artist because there's people like me in the crowd who are like, oh my God, what's that song? And they just pull out their phone and Shazam it and then put that in their sets. And all of a sudden the streaming revenue starts to grow. They start to get a little bit more popular. So it happens slowly but surely after that. And so I would just love to create a platform where I can be like, I like you, I like this music, I'm going to send it to my DJ friends, and if they like it, they'll play it. So I can't guarantee it's not guaranteed success, but it's just a way to help people kind of just scoop them up and push them in the right direction.
When you use as a DJ, when you use a song of another DJ, I have another friend that is also a DJ from Germany, but he told me that, or maybe you can explain. So, you can buy like the really the real high quality version of a song. You know,
Yeah,
it's different than what you get on Spotify. Like as a DJ, you don't play the Spotify version, right?
Yeah, there's two different ways to get music. One of them isn't recommended, and that is using websites where you can convert YouTube videos to MP3 files or Spotify song links to MP3 files and then download them. That's free. There's other websites, Beatport. I don't know any other ones. Beatport is the biggest one, where you can go on and it's like iTunes used to be, but for electronic music. So you go on, you pay €2, €1, €2 per song, and you download the high quality audio file of that song. That is the way that you should be doing it. If you're going to bigger clubs, festivals, anywhere with a great sounding set of speakers, because the great sounding set of speakers, when you rip something off of a different website, the quality is going to be lower. So when you go to put it on this big set of festival speakers, it's going to sound like garbage, because the good speakers are supposed to bring out the details and the richness of the sounds. And so if it's a bad quality sound, it's not going to sound good on really good speakers. So that's why when you go to a website like Beatport, you're getting FLAC files, FLAC files, which are lossless, high quality audio. It's an audio file that's above wave, and you can mainly only download MP3s, which is the most basic compressed form on Spotify and YouTube downloaders. So that's not recommended for big, good speaker systems, which is the main difference. And also, it's also copyright infringement, so that too.
So, but you only have to pay like €2 once, and then you can use the song as often as you want.
Yeah, exactly. So you only have to pay. You have to just purchase the song outright. The only problem is that gets very costly because, as a DJ, a 1 hour set is going to be, depending on how fast you play, a 1 hour set's about 30 songs. And then if you want to build a library of music, I mean, you're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of euros. Like if you have 1,000 songs, that's 2,000 euros for just the music. So, it's a lot of money. But what I would say is that my best advice to give people would be use the MP3 files at home, figure out which songs you like, which songs you know you want to play, and then make the investment. And if you know that you're going to be on these good quality speakers, make the investment, buy the high quality songs, and build a playlist over time that's very curated. And then also you'll only have great songs. Like if you have time to go through and download 1,000 songs, and then you just pick the 300 out of that 1,000 that you really like, that's going to lead to a higher quality final product when you play live anyway. So it's a worthwhile investment to kind of download as much music as you want and then just filter through it and pick the good ones and up the quality of those,
Nice. Okay, that's makes sense. What do you think about like AI music generation? Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Yes.
So I think personally that AI is at a point, and I love technology. It's my favorite thing. It's one of my great passions. To me, AI is right now, people are thinking a lot about the future of it, and they're not thinking about what it is at face value right now. Like if you hear AI generated music, a full song, pretty terrible. The things I really like about AI are, like vocal replication. So you can record your own voice singing a melody, and then all of a sudden Beyonce singing that melody. That to me is really cool. I would never use it because at this point it's a little gimmicky, but I can see the application of it down the line. Like maybe you don't have a good voice, or you sound uncharacteristic of a singer that you want in that genre. So maybe say I can't sing, but just say I can sing, but I don't have a very soulful voice. And what I want is a soul sample that sounded like I was plucked it right out of like an old gospel song from the 50s. Instead of crate digging for hours and hours and hours to find the perfect sample, I can just record myself singing what I want to be sung and then use AI to generate that soulful, rich, beautiful style vocal. And to me, that's crazy cool. Where I think it falters is when people think they can use it to make an entire song. And of course, they can. It's possible. But, based on this entire episode, that would defeat the entire purpose of music for me, Like, it's all about an expression of myself and painting my emotions on this, like, canvas. And to just generate it, I mean, it defeats the entire point. And I think right now, ChatGPT is an incredibly good, natural language model. So if you put words that you've written in, it can pump something out that is very high quality, pristine, no spelling errors. But at least me, and I know a lot of other professors, and my mother, who is an English teacher, my dad, he owns his own business. He loves to use ChatGPT because email's instant, right? And every time he sends it to my mom as a draft, she'll look at it 5 seconds. Nope, you wrote this with AI. Write it again yourself. I mean, and it's the same way for me. I can instantly tell when somebody's used ChatGPT on text because it's got this very polished, emotionless narrative. And so it's easy for me to tell where it's like, that's AI. Like that's written by AI. There's no way. And with music, no matter how good it is, it will, as long as it's made by AI, it will always be emotionless because there's no human behind it and of course you could use all of the techniques in the world to convey emotion, but in my opinion, maybe this will change, but in my opinion right now, you can't create a song that holds emotion if you're not creating it with emotion. So, and AI's ability to synthesize emotion is non-existent. So when you're trying to synthesize an emotional song, if it's coming from an emotionless place, there's a disconnect. So for me, AI music in a nutshell it's a great tool, but it won't replace musicians. I don't think anytime soon, at least. Maybe longer down the line, but at this point, I don't see it. I'd never see it as a threat. But I think it can be an amazing tool, like I was saying. It's fun to mess around with, I'll tell you that much. Like, I've had so much fun. Like, I can be Drake. It's fun. Like, and I've done this thing where I've just rapped, I've written something, rapped it, created a beat that I would do for Drake. And it also helps with sussing out different things. So I'm like, okay, I want to make a Drake style beat. What do I need to do? I wrote a Drake style lyrics, recorded my voice singing Drake style, put it through AI, got a Drake acapella, and then built a beat around that, deleted the acapella, boom, Drake beat perfectly. It's an amazing placeholder, and it helps you create songs around it that are much more high quality. So it's really fun. That's the bottom line, is it's super fun to use. I don't use it a lot, but when I do, I have a great time.
I can imagine. I always have one closing question.
Yeah.
And this question, maybe for you, I will change it a little bit, but you can answer it in both ways. So I will add something. So the question is, what kind of book or YouTube video or podcast would you recommend to people? But for you, I will change a little bit. You can also say a song, but it's you can also say a song that you really, really love, that you really would recommend
I like this.
people
All
to
right.
listen. So
Okay.
Go for it.
Book. I'm going to start out with book. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. That book is amazing. That book, go for it.
I don't know, the question, I think it's fine. We can leave this in.
Yeah.
But choose one thing.
One thing.
Not
just one thing.
Not one book. One
Oh,
music
got it.
video and
Got it. One thing. All right. Yeah.
People
No.
always-
Okay. I misunderstood.
Yeah.
One thing.
all people
Okay.
misunderstand and all people hate it because they're like,
Oh my
shit,
God.
now I
One
have to
thing. Yeah.
decide.
Okay. Let me think. Oh man, that's hard. Okay.
man.
My one song that I could recommend for anybody to listen to. The song was my ringtone for the longest time. Is Titan by Blasterjacks and Baddimes. That song, I don't know. There's something about it. It's very old school. It's like, I think 2013, 2014 spinning records. Like, this is the old school big room festival sound. And this song immediately made me fall in love with the entire genre. Like, that song, Titan by Blasterjacks, is one of my favorite songs of all time. I love that song. Yeah,
Nice,
so that's my
nice.
one pick.
Perfect. I will listen to it.
Yes, it's a good one.
Yeah. Max, I really, really enjoyed talking to you.
I really loved it, man. Thank you so much for inviting me.
This has been a Rational Optimization podcast. I hope you learned something.
See you in the next one.